Nobody believes it.
And well, if we lose...
There's the case, and then there's everything else. How are you going to answer this?
I spent my whole life in pursuit of justice and have this punk. What an idiot. Where did I get the idea I could do this job without the politics and stay above the fray?
You're in the soup now, my friend.
The communications office suggested a press conference or maybe a couple of strategic phone calls. I'll answer them in the arena I know best. My entire career has been dedicated to the facts and the law, without regard for where they lead, and it was clear to me that the facts here led directly to an auxiliary officer blindly firing an unauthorized weapon into a crowd of unarmed civilians. No one is denying these facts, so to me, no fair-minded person could find their prosecution unjust or politically motivated.
Then explain why you fired Mr. Latham.
I didn't fire him because of his failure to get an indictment, even though that failure was caused by his own inability to remain objective. I fired him because he told me that I couldn't be trusted. And I can't rely on an employee who doesn't trust me. Not where people's rights and freedoms are at stake.
Mr. McCoy, do you like cops?
Some cops I like a lot. I respect police officers. I appreciate the difficulty of their job. I respect the standard they hold themselves to.
But you prosecuted cops.
I've prosecuted individual cops.
On more than one occasion. In fact, you've worked on more prosecutions of police officers than anyone in your office, isn't that right?
Maybe because I've been there the longest.
You prosecuted cops, big tobacco, big pharma, pro-life groups, anti-gay activists, gun manufacturers. The whole liberal hit list, isn't that right?
I took the cases that landed on my desk.
In fact, you went out of your way to fabricate cases to service your liberal agenda.
That's not true.
It's not true. Didn't you bend the law so egregiously in your illegitimate pursuit of a gun manufacturer that the judge had to set aside the jury's guilty verdict in the interests of justice? Didn't the judge have to, as Mr. Latham testified, rein you in?
That's one side of the ledger. I was also reined in while prosecuting a sexual predator. I was reined in for prosecuting a bunch of Russian gangsters who killed the prosecutor and almost blew up a police station.
Maybe sometimes by accident you are on the side of the angels, but Mr. Latham is right. You can't be trusted. You're out of control. Isn't that the bottom line on you, Mr. McCoy?
The bottom line, Miss Sanders, where there's a law, I'll enforce it. Where there's a crime, I'll prosecute it. And where there's a victim, I'll speak for that victim. That's my bottom line.
No more questions for this witness.
As to the first count of the indictment, murder in the second degree, has a jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor. We find the defendant guilty.
As of the second count of the indictment, attempted murder in the second degree, how do you find?
We find the defendant guilty.
That's it?
All 700 pages of it. There's a copy for each of you.
So what's the final verdict? Police right or not?
I'll tell you this. Both sides will be angry with me.
Sounds like you got it right then.
What's this?
It's one of the tie pins from Bobby Kennedy's campaign in '68.